Have you ever wondered why some people seem to sabotage themselves at every turn? They're smart, talented, capable, but somehow they can never get it together. They put things off until the last minute, beat themselves up constantly, and watch opportunities slip away while feeling powerless to stop it. Let me tell you about John. He's 28 years old, works in marketing, and from the outside, his life looks pretty decent. But inside, John is drowning. And the worst part is, he's convinced it's entirely his fault. This is the story of how John went from being his own worst enemy to finally understanding why he couldn't stop sabotaging himself, and how, with help, he learned to break free. John wakes up at 6:30 a.m. to his third alarm. The first two, he snoozed. "You're so lazy," he thinks before his eyes are even fully open. It's his first thought every morning. He has a presentation due at work today. He's known about it for 3 weeks. He hasn't started it. "I'll do it this weekend," he told himself 2 weekends ago. Then, "I'll do it tonight, every night this week." But every night, he'd sit at his laptop, stare at the blank screen, feel the anxiety rising in his chest, and then open YouTube, or scroll through Reddit, or suddenly decide that right now, at 9 p.m., was the perfect time to reorganize his bookshelf. He hates himself for it. Every single time. On the train to work, John's stomach is in knots. He knows he'll have to pull something together in the next few hours. He's done it before. He'll probably do it again. He might even do okay. But the shame of it, the constant last-minute scramble, the knowing he could have done better if he'd just started earlier, it's eating him alive. "Why am I like this?" he thinks, for probably the 1,000th time this month. "What's wrong with me?" His coworker Emma asks him how the presentation is going. "Great," John lies with a smile. "Almost done." Inside, he wants to scream. He wants to tell someone that he's barely holding it together, that he feels like a fraud, that every day is this exhausting performance of pretending to be functional while feeling like he's constantly one mistake away from everything falling apart. But he doesn't say any of that. He just smiles and gets another coffee. The presentation goes, okay. John threw it together in 2 hours, fueled by panic and caffeine. His boss doesn't seem thrilled, but doesn't seem angry either. It's fine. It's always fine. But John knows it could have been better. Should have been better. "You're such a failure," the voice in his head says on repeat as he walks home. Everyone else can do basic tasks like a normal person. What's your excuse? That night, John has another project to start. A personal one, this time. He's been wanting to build a portfolio website for months. He's got the skills. He's got the time. He's got no excuse. He opens his laptop with determination. Tonight's the night, he tells himself. I'm going to actually do this. But the blank screen stares back at him, and suddenly the anxiety is back. What if it's not good enough? What if he puts in all this work and it turns out mediocre? What if people see it and think he's talentless? His phone buzzes. Just a quick check. 30 minutes later, he's deep into a Wikipedia rabbit hole about the history of submarines. He doesn't even like submarines. He doesn't care about submarines. But it's easier than facing the blank screen. By 11 p.m., he's accomplished nothing. Again. Tomorrow, he promises himself. I'll definitely start tomorrow. But he knows he won't. And the self-hatred deepens. This is John's life. A constant cycle of procrastination and self-loathing. Put things off, hate himself for it. Promise to do better, put things off again, hate himself more. Round and round and round. His friends think he's got it together. His family thinks he's just going through a phase. But John feels like he's slowly suffocating under the weight of his own inadequacy. The breaking point comes on a random Tuesday. John misses a major deadline at work. Not by a few hours. Not by a day. By a week. He just forgot. Or rather, he kept telling himself he'd do it, kept putting it off, kept avoiding thinking about it, until suddenly it was a week past due and his boss was calling him into the office. The conversation is awful. Not because his boss yells. He doesn't. He just looks disappointed. Concerned. He asks John if everything is okay at home. If there's something going on. If he needs help. And John, sitting in that office, realizes he doesn't have an answer. Everything is fine. There's no crisis. There's no excuse. He just didn't do it. And he doesn't know why. That night, John sits on his couch and finally admits to himself that something is really wrong. This isn't just laziness. This isn't just poor time management. This is something deeper, something he can't fix on his own with another productivity app or motivational video. His roommate finds him there at 2 a.m., staring at nothing. I think I need help. John says quietly. It's the first honest thing he's said to anyone in months. His roommate nods. Yeah, man. I think you do. 2 weeks later, John is sitting in a therapist's office. Dr. Sarah Chun looks nothing like he expected. She's young, casual, and she doesn't make him lie on a couch or ask about his mother. She just asks him to tell her what's going on. And for the first time in years, John tells the truth. All of it. The procrastination, the self-hatred, the constant feeling of being a fraud, the exhaustion of pretending everything is fine when inside, he feels like he's failing at the basic act of being human. Dr. Chen listens, really listens. And when John finishes, expecting judgment or a lecture, she says something he doesn't expect. John, has anyone ever talked to you about perfectionism? Perfectionism? John almost laughs. I'm the opposite of a perfectionist. Perfectionists get things done. I can't finish anything. Actually, Dr. Chun says gently, that's not true. Perfectionism isn't about getting things done perfectly. It's about the fear of not getting things done perfectly. And that fear is so overwhelming that it's easier to not do them at all. She explains that procrastination and self-loathing often go hand in hand. John procrastinates because he's terrified of failing, of being judged, of confirming what he already suspects about himself, that he's not good enough. And when he procrastinates, he hates himself for it, which makes the fear worse, which makes him procrastinate more. It's not laziness. It's self-protection. His brain is trying to protect him from the pain of potential failure by avoiding the situation entirely. But in doing so, it's creating the exact outcome he fears. You're not broken, Dr. Chen tells him. Your brain is actually working exactly as it's supposed to. It's just trying to protect you in a way that's no longer serving you. For the first time in years, John feels something shift. Not fixed, not cured, but seen. Understood. Like maybe, just maybe, he's not uniquely terrible. Like maybe there's a reason for all this. Like maybe there's a way out. Dr. Chun gives John homework. Actual homework. The irony isn't lost on him. First, track his procrastination patterns. Not to judge himself, but to notice. When does he procrastinate? What triggers it? What does he feel right before he opens YouTube instead of working? John starts keeping a journal. It's uncomfortable, but he does it. He notices patterns. He procrastinates most on projects that matter to him. The things he cares about, the things he wants to be good at, those are the things he avoids the most. The things he doesn't care about, he can knock those out no problem. It's the opposite of what he thought. He's not lazy. He's scared. Second, practice self-compassion. This is harder than the journal. Dr. Chin tells him that every time he catches himself in self-loathing, he needs to pause and ask, would I say this to a friend? John realizes he wouldn't. He'd never call his friend a lazy piece of garbage for missing a deadline. He'd ask what was going on. He'd offer support. He'd be kind. So why? Dr. Chen asks. Do you think you deserve less kindness than you'd give to anyone else? John doesn't have an answer. Third, break tasks into absurdly small steps. Not work on presentation, but open PowerPoint. That's it. Just open it. Then, if he feels like it, he can add a title slide. But the only requirement is to open PowerPoint. It sounds stupid. It feels stupid. But it works. Because John realizes that his overwhelm isn't about the task itself. It's about the mountain his brain builds around the task. And when the task is just open PowerPoint, there's no mountain. There's just a molehill. He starts tracking his progress. Not in grand gestures or major accomplishments, but in small wins. Opened the file. Wrote one sentence. Sent one email. Started 10 minutes early instead of 10 minutes late. 3 months later, John's life looks different. Not perfect. He still procrastinates sometimes. He still has bad days. But the crushing weight of self-loathing has lightened. He meets deadlines now, not by some miraculous surge of willpower, but by breaking things down, starting stupidly early on the easy parts, and being honest with himself when he's struggling. He tells his boss he's been working on some things. Not the details, just that he's been dealing with some challenges and he's getting help. His boss appreciates the honesty, offers flexibility. It turns out, being human isn't the career-ending disaster John thought it would be. He starts the portfolio website. It takes 2 months of tiny, incremental progress. It's not perfect, but it's done, and it's good enough. That phrase, good enough, used to feel like failure to John. Now it feels like freedom. The biggest change isn't in what he does. It's in how he talks to himself. The voice in his head is still there. It still tries to tell him he's worthless, that he's lazy, that he's a failure. But now, there's another voice. A kinder one. One that sounds a lot like Dr. Chin. One that asks, is that true? Is that helpful? What would you tell a friend? John learns that self-loathing isn't a personality trait. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. He learns that procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's a symptom, a red flag that something else is going on. Fear, perfectionism, overwhelm, lack of clarity. He learns that being kind to himself doesn't make him weak or complacent. It makes him stronger. Because you can't heal in an environment of constant criticism, not even when the criticism is coming from inside your own head. Today, John still sees Dr. Chin every other week. Some sessions, he talks about deep stuff. Other sessions, they just problem solve. How to handle a difficult project. How to set boundaries. How to ask for help without feeling like a burden. John's not cured. He doesn't think he needs to be. He's just learning to be a person who struggles sometimes, like every other person on the planet. He's learning that self-compassion isn't self-indulgence. It's survival. If John's story sounds familiar, if you've been trapped in that same cycle of procrastination and self-loathing, if you've been wondering why you can't just get it together like everyone else seems to, here's what John would want you to know. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not uniquely terrible. You're struggling. And struggling is human. And there's help available. You don't have to figure this out alone. The way out starts with one small step, admitting you need help, and then taking it.